needed, you needed that. Here we go. Here we go.
It was about the other guys anyway.
You know what it is? Mike and Bill Radio. The king of RBA Business Talk Radio on ESPN 106.1 FM, The Choice 105.3, and worldwide on IBGR.network. Would you join me, please, in welcoming Mike King Bill Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the Mike King here. This is part of the Mike King Biz Media Network, ESPN Richmond, The Breeze, CW Richmond TV. Hey, but you know what time it is? I got the one and only Tiffany Green, and she's the non-profit profit whisperer. All right, ma'am, tell folks who you are and what you do.
I am Tiffany Green, as you said, Mike, and I am the founder of Empower People, which is a nonprofit that provides education and connection to leaders so they can empower the people, organizations, and communities they serve. And
we are here talking about a lot of times people talk about there's a big gap between the nonprofit world and the for-profit world, that they're really different. Totally different. I was part of that ilk. That there's differences. And you said, and I said, the difference is people are always worried about nonprofits begging for money. And you said,
everyone's begging for money.
Everybody's after to getting money. Okay, but now the other thing that you're known for besides understanding that is purpose-driven.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about that part. Tell people really quickly about Empower People and then the purpose-driven portion of it, why that's so important.
So I think in order to explain why that's so important is why I developed Empower People. So in order to talk about or make sense of as to why I developed Empower People, I kind of have to get personal. So bear with me.
Alrighty.
Okay. So imagine me much younger. Okay. And so we all talk about our big defining moments in life, right? We all have them, right? So one of the big defining moments in life was getting kicked out of my house as a kid. Okay. I literally was just kicked out. There was no, okay, you're going to have to be out 30 days. Or it was just.
This is it right now.
I walk in the door and they're like, you're out. We don't want you here anymore. And in fact, he said, we'll call you a cab, tell them where to go, but don't tell us where you're going. But you got to be out you got to be out. That's how it was. So I had very little time to process this information and then go, okay, I have to be out, so what am I going to do? So I could only grab something, right? What did I grab? My book bag. I picked up my book bag and walked out the door. And what was in my book bag was books.
Books.
Education.
So when you have to go, the thing that's going to go with you is education. 100%. It's your books.
It's freedom. Books, education equals freedom and equals power. Because once you know something, nobody can take it away from you. They can take away your house. They can take away your family. They can even take away what you feel is your dignity. But they can't take away what's up here.
Okay, so until that moment, did you know the part that books and stuff played? Or you were just like a kid and just like, all right, I'll go to school, I'll do those things. But did you know the important part that the thing that these books offered?
I knew that education was the one thing was going to get me what I wanted out of my life, to help me achieve my purpose. Now, I'm not saying at 5 years old, 6 years old, I could clearly describe to you what my purpose was, but there was something gnawing at me, right? I always knew, and I knew that by not focusing on education and learning and practicing my brain muscle, the odds of that purpose being achieved, not great. Because I was observing, all children do. They're always watching, right?
Yes.
They're watching everybody. And I'm watching people, and I'm like, okay, these people are seemingly having fun and a great time, and boy, they're well liked. And I'm talking now as adults, not the other kids. And I'm like, but they feel, like I'm sensing they still have this void, right? That they're not being fulfilled. And I look over here, and seemingly the people who knew people, they might not be the most popular, but they were well liked.
They knew people.
They knew people, but they weren't aiming for Mr. or Ms. popularity.
Mm-hmm.
But they were getting like this fulfillment. They all had some sort of education.
Okay.
I'm not saying they all had to have doctorates, right?
But they were educated people.
They were educated
And you
people.
could tell.
I could tell. And I looked and I'm like, that's what I need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
This other stuff, I want to be social. I have friends on, but I got to achieve that purpose, to fill my soul. I got to do that. And that's the thing. And I'm looking at them and I'm looking at their lives. I'm looking at this. It's not about the car. It wasn't about the house. It was that fulfillment.
It was something in them.
It was like this innate joy that they had, right? This joy. Man, did I want that joy. I wanted to have the joy. No pun intended, because it's my middle name.
I understand, but if anybody should have joy, it should be Tiffany Joy.
So I'm looking at that and I go, I want that. I want that. So I learned from that and I said, okay. So as the years evolved on, I'm like, I want others to do that. And funny little things during my childhood, I would tutor other kids. Even in elementary school, if there were kids struggling in class, I'd not play recess and I'd sit in the classroom and help them with their studies.
So you were teaching kids, you were empowering people at that age before you know what you were doing.
Exactly.
It was just your thing.
It was my thing, because what I wanted is I wanted people to know, no matter how awful you think your life is right now, if you focus on this is a key to help you. This won't hurt you. It can't hurt you. It can only help you. So I wanted to help people as much as I could with that. Everybody can learn. Everybody can learn. I don't care if, some people can learn faster, right? But everyone can learn.
One of Mike King here, Tiffany is. I got my grandson Zach in the building with us. Down with us. One of Mike here.
Kids in the
just a little bit of housekeeping there. I'm hearing certain things in studio. It's a professional operation here. We don't shenanigans. Oh, no, that's not what we do here. We talk to the best and the brightest.
Hello from Washington, President JB here. Whenever Jill and I leave in our car, we tune in to our guy, Mike King Biz, on ESPN RIT.
I enjoy listening to On the Mic with Mike every day.
That's what I do.
I didn't say it. That's what he said. That's what I do. Mike King, Tiffany is here with us. So you were always that person. You were that caretaker person, but it was the part with the education that really did it.
It did. And then once I got into high school, so I play violin, and I loved it. I loved playing violin, and in fact, I considered going to school, like continuing my education in it. But I loved it, and so we used to have orchestra on Mondays and Wednesdays. I believe it was Mondays and Wednesdays. Don't quote me on that. And then the other days would be study hall. Well, instead of going to study hall, you know what I did? I went into the band room and I practiced my violin. And then I'd ask other orchestra players, like, why don't we just go in there and we'll play and we practice? And we did. And next thing you know, I was like a little mini teacher without
You're a little
knowing.
band director.
Yeah. I ended up getting a leadership award for that. They'd never seen something like that before. But you know what happened with that is there were kids, and I'm looking back now. I didn't necessarily get it at the time, but there were kids you didn't think they were any good. And when we were just playing, I wasn't focusing on, are you good or not? I was focusing on what? Are you getting joy from this? Let's have fun. Because if you're getting joy from it, you can always work on the rest, the technique and everything else. But the number one thing is the joy.
And so when Tiffany walks in a room, you bring light, you bring joy to the room. Are there some people who don't get it? Like you may be too much for them?
Yes. I've been told I'm intense.
You're a bit much. You're a bit much. But it's better to be too much than too little.
Yeah.
If you're too little, people never remember you. Like, who was that person?
I don't know about you, but if someone gives me too much cake, I'm happy. They give me too little, I'm not satisfied.
Yeah, so you want, okay, so the too much was developing back then. Mm-hmm. So you're a young person, you know that you're different. When did you realize you were different as an adult?
I've always known I was different.
I've
different. Always known it.
And everybody's different.
Everybody's
different. But some people are more different than others.
And so I've had former classmates say I just have always, what's that saying, dance to the beat of my own drum. Mm-hmm. Which is true. I never really focused on what other people thought of me or so fun. I don't know if you could probably envision this. So like in school, I would wear blazers to school. Okay, when other kids are wearing hoodies, I'm locking in with the blazer because I liked how it felt.
And you didn't care about marching to your own beat.
No, I didn't care.
So when you put an organization together, or you're starting to talk to younger people or people period, a lot of people worry about if I don't fit in. If I don't.
So when you're worried about fitting in, you lose your purpose, right?
Yes.
So because you're no longer focused on your why, your joy, you're focused on everybody else, right? And I believe Brene Brown talks about that, about fitting in. Fitting in is not really what you should be aiming for, but fitting in is that short, you get that immediate satisfaction.
Because a lot of times we want to fit in.
You want to be liked, you want to be seen, you want to be validated, you want to be heard. But at the end of the day, and I think this is from, being in the environment I was in as a kid, I realized, like, it's either me or it's not. And I'm not going to be happy unless I'm me. So I'm just going to do me. You either like it or you don't. But there was one thing about that I always knew and I always strived for. You know what that was? It was to be kind. And to try to be as kind as possible. Not to say I have faults like everybody else, and I've made mistakes. But I always think about others. That's really important, right? As a human being, I think. So it's showing that compassion. And so as I'm evolving, I'm like, I want people to evolve together. It's not like, you got pie, and people are. I see this in the business world all the time, right? Well, if I get this piece of pie, right? And I don't want to give that because then there's less pie. Guess what? You can always make more pie.
People don't get that part. And people don't. And so I always say there's enough of it to go around. We all can get ours. Okay, so kindness is a part of your ethos right there. That's your thing too. It goes over tying it into joy, and it drives us right into being a purpose-driven organization. Do businesses start out to be that?
So if I were to do a study and say, do most businesses start off that way? I would say the business probably does not.
No.
But the owner does. Most owners, if it's a business owner or a founder of a nonprofit, there is this purpose, the bigger purpose of why they're starting this business. The bigger purpose, and not all the time, but the majority of the time is, I want to change the world, or I want to leave this big legacy, or I want to change my community. There is a bigger purpose.
I want to work on legacy.
It's not about the money, right? The money is like, when you measure KPIs, money's like a KPI. But money isn't the reason. When you're constantly chasing money, you lose all purpose. If you're constantly seeking validation, you lose all purpose. Money is validation.
So I've had a conversation with my grandson. Zach, you want to step in? Come on, Zach, step in. Come on around here. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my grandson, Zach, who's here. We've had the conversation about money and chasing money and dollar bills and what that means. All right, so Zach, step in. So say hello.
Hi.
Okay, so Zach, we've had the conversation before. Let's talk about younger people and the desire to have money and what it means and what talks have we had?
For Zach to answer?
Yes, for Zach.
Oh, when you have money, you can buy a lot of stuff that you want to buy, and when you can buy the stuff that you want to buy, you're happy. And when you're happy, you're happy.
Okay, so when here you go. Okay, so here you go, Tiffany.
Okay, so stuff makes you happy, right? So Christmas comes around and you get all these gifts. You might get some money, right? And how happy are you that day?
Can I answer?
No,
He's happy.
He's happy.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm still in this now. Okay.
Let's say 7 days from Christmas, a week away from Christmas. How happy are you?
Still happy because I still got my iPad that I got for Christmas last year from him. So I'm still happy.
He got it from his grandmother. I just want to be clear with that.
So by the next Christmas, do you not ask for anything because you're still happy from the last Christmas?
No. I'm going to ask for more stuff.
Right. So it's you're constantly trying to make myself happy, fill that void.
I get more happy.
Okay. So when she said about the pie, share the pie, you looked up. Because Do everybody wants to get theirs, correct?
Hmm?
You think most people want to get theirs?
The money, the things.
Not just money, the money and things. Well, because what you wanted 12, grown people wanted 32 and 52. They want stuff. So when she says that about the stuff, sharing the pie, you looked up. Why'd you look up at me?
Sharing the pie.
Did you understand that part?
I heard pie.
He wanted pie. That's
He
what
wanted pie, ladies and gentlemen. What she's saying was that, okay, if there's money that's out there, you want yours, wants hers, but we only care about us getting ours. Our idea is if we share it, it's enough pie to go around because we can always go make some more.
They can go make some more too.
But can people really do anything on their own? Because to make that pie, what do you need?
Other people.
That's right. You need a lot of different things to go into that pie to make a pie. So is it kind of, I'm just going to ask a question, is it kind of selfish to think that, well, I want my pie knowing that all these people contributed the pie, but I only want it for myself? Or is it more, let's keep making pie together?
You have as much fun when you're playing on the sports team as when you're going to the store buying stuff, don't you? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I mean, because
it's only fun when I'm winning. When I'm losing.
It's not fun. I mean, it's never fun when you're losing, but the time that you spent out there with your friends, your people, as opposed to you're in the store and you just gave them
If I'm in the store.
$100 for something, sneakers or whatever. You get more joy. You're just smiling and having a great time out there with those guys. You have a good time when you're in there buying the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time. But you can't keep that good time going because you got to go from one store to the next store to the next store to the next store. But you're out there, you're playing, you're messing with that guy, the other guy's getting on you, and you walk away saying, man, it's a team.
I'm still gonna be happy because I still have my stuff. So if I get something, like when I got these shoes that I have on, I got them for the beginning of the school year, and I still have them, and I'm still happy that I have them.
You're still happy that you have them.
Mm-hmm.
At what point will you stop being happy that you have them?
When they get too little.
Let me ask you this question, because I think every day when you put those sneakers on, do you feel joy? Do you feel happy? Are you going,
happy.
do you say,
I wake up happy because I woke up today. Not everybody woke up today.
see, that's good. That's good.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that I could take some credit for that. That's a good answer, man. That's a good answer. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So he's exhibiting gratitude is what I'm hearing. He
So
understands gratitude.
He understands gratitude. And why is gratitude important? What he just said. Why is that important?
Because if you can't focus on what you do have, all you focus on what you don't have, and then you can't share the pie.
She wants to share the pie. So this is a business show, and you always talk about the business side of it, right, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
You'll talk about that. Okay. All righty. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Zach. I mean, you can get off of me.
I gotta say this because I'm getting up there in age. Do you remember the Lego commercial? Because every time I hear Zach, I always think Zach, he's a Lego maniac. Do you remember that?
Yes, Zach. No, he does not.
No, I'm saying you do.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, so Mike is here. Tiffany is here. Oh, and so that was just an impromptu man on the street. We just ask it. Ask a young person. Ask a young person. All righty. Tiffany, how can people find information out about you?
Visit our website, empowerpeople.org, and it's spelled MPWR people, PEOPLE.org.
The power of a purpose-driven organization is?
The empower people and working together and having purpose. Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry.
That is
it.
it.
You lost me on the question.
That is it. The power of empowering people.
That's correct.
Everybody top to bottom.
Everybody, every single human being has the ability to be empowered.
The book that I'm holding here in my hand is?
The Foundations of Business Consulting, and that talks about how all areas of business need to come together and work together in order for the business to actually survive, grow, and thrive.
Okay.
So a lot of times, as you know, business owners, everything's kind of siloed, right? Accounting's doing its thing, sales is doing its thing, operations it's doing its thing. And when if that they're all just kind of like doing their own thing, that's when the magic doesn't happen. They all have to operate like an orchestra.
And coming from a violinist. There you go. Tiffany is out there. We have an event coming up. What's the what are we working on together?
So we have the Empower Hour
The
coming up.
Empower Hour. One
And,
second, the Empower
and that
Hour.
is the first. Oh, we're gonna do a little sound. I love that.
The Empower Hour is when?
It's first Wednesday of October, and now that date's escaping me, so I apologize. But it's the first. What is that? I wish we had a calendar.
It's
the first Wednesday of
It's first
October.
Wednesday, and we are going. We're taking our show on the road. This is a road trip, and we're
Robin's
going to
Hope.
something special.
Robin's Hope.
Robin's Hope. Man, I like going out to hang with those guys.
Oh yeah.
That is a nonprofit, really, who gets it. You know, like everybody likes them.
They get it, and what they do, so they're really different because there's no other organization like them because they really focus on folks who have experienced trauma, and this is what Robin's Hope is. It's not therapy. It's resilience and support for those who have experienced trauma. So how do you live this fulfilling life and have friendships and connections when you've had all this trauma? Robin's Hope helps you do that through peer support.
There you go. That's right. The Empower Hour, Mike, Tiffany. We got some rock stars who are hanging with us right there. All right, we got to run. One of Mike, Tiffany.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks now. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it, man.